I left my date on the side of the road after he insulted my dead mom's car. So I matched with this guy Ryan on Hinge last week. He's 31 and I'm 22, which should have been my first red flag, but he seemed really put together in his photos. We chatted for a few days and he kept bragging about how he was going to show me an amazing time. He told me he was an electrical engineer making good money and kept talking about his Audi A5. He said things like, "Wait until you see my car, you're going to love it," and "I know all the best spots in the city." I was actually excited because most guys my age are broke and drive their mom's minivan. The morning of our date, he texts me saying his Audi is in the shop and he has to pick me up in his brother's car instead. When he pulls up to my apartment, I see this beat-up Saab with spray paint tags all over it and bumper stickers covering half the back window. The thing looked like it barely ran. I decided to just meet him at the museum and drive myself. When I get there, he's standing outside looking completely different from his photos, like 20 pounds heavier and wearing this wrinkled button-down that clearly hadn't been washed in weeks. We walk up to the ticket counter and I'm reaching for my wallet when he pulls out an EBT card. An EBT card. I'm standing there confused because he just spent 3 days telling me about his engineering salary and his expensive car, but he's using food stamps to get us free museum admission. I didn't want to be rude, so I just went along with it, but my brain was already trying to figure out what was going on. The museum part was actually okay. He knew a lot about the exhibits and we had decent conversations about the art, but then we decided to grab dinner across town and he asked if we could take my car since his brother needed the saw back. The second Ryan sees my 2021 Nissan Altima, he starts cracking up, like full on laughing and pointing at it. I ask him what's so funny and he just waves me off saying, "Nothing, nothing," but he keeps smirking and making these little comments under his breath. We get in the car and about 5 minutes into driving, he goes, "So this is actually your car?" I tell him, "Yeah, it was a gift." He laughs again and says, "I would have respectfully declined. Nissan Altimas are one of the most low-quality cars on the market. They're basically the Honda Civic of sedans." I'm sitting there shocked because my mom saved up for months to buy me this car before she died last year. It's not some fancy sports car, but it's reliable and it was the nicest thing anyone had ever given me. But Ryan wasn't done. He looks around the interior and goes, "And these girly seat covers don't help either. You should go for an all-black look if you want people to take you seriously." The seat covers were my mom's. They have these little sunflowers on them that she thought were cheerful. I told him they belonged to my mom and he already knew she had passed away because I'd mentioned it when we were texting. His response? "I'm not sure why that matters. It doesn't look good." That's when something snapped inside me. Here's this guy who lied about having money, lied about his car, paid for our date with government assistance, and now he's insulting the last thing I have from my dead mother. I asked him about his Audi and if he had any pictures of it. He immediately got defensive and started talking even more trash about my car, said I should trade it in for something with better resale value. I pulled over right there on the side of Highway 85 and told him to get out. He looked at me like I was crazy and goes, "Are you serious right now?" I said, "Dead serious. Get out of my low-quality car with the girly seat covers." He tried to argue, saying I was overreacting and that he was just giving me honest feedback. I reached across him, opened his door, and told him he could call an Uber. Ryan got out looking completely shocked, like he couldn't believe someone would actually call him out on his behavior. I drove away and left him standing there on the side of the road in his wrinkled shirt. Best decision I made all week.